Welcome to Carrington. I'm with Peter and Ruby and we are actually situated in the Botanical Gardens of Carrington.
So these grounds go back to Western civilization of around 1836, when some bloke by the name of Ebden sort of took a few acres of land. He was a pastoralist of the day, and Major Mitchell had been through here some years earlier. So along the banks of the Campaspe, Kyneton was formed.
During the 1850s, there was abundance of bluestone in the area. So much of it was quarried and used for a lot of the buildings around Carrington, which we will see today. Another factor is that this town came about not because of the gold in itself, but because of the people on the way to the goldfields. So it was an actual stopping point for all these miners who are on their way north of Carrington.
Well, they all required their provisions, Jojo.
They certainly did. So come along with us as we walk around Carrington and show you some of the wonderful buildings that this town has to offer that have actually stood the test of time.
Some haven't.
Well, the bluestone ones have.
Well, that's pretty solid.
They are very solid. Okay, so let's go.
Right.
I forget to mention that these botanical gardens were set aside in 1866, and it was the town clerk of the day that helped plan them. And a lot of the seedlings, of course, came from Melbourne, under the supervision of Baron von Müller. Anyway, shall we move on?
Yeah, that Baron bloke has had enough airplay, I reckon. I'm sure he had a few underlings who actually did it for him. And we'll give credit to them. Bye. Behind me is the Kyneton railway station. Hey, it's pretty obvious, it's bluestone. It's still a functional railway station to this day, and it's a barrack style architecture. It was really built to house the working linesmen and the staff of the day. Okay, pretty good example. In July 1889, on Wedge Street, the Sisters of Mercy started a Catholic girls' school here in Kyneton. The building once housed the Robert Burns Hotel. A boarding school opened later that year, and in 1906, this handsome three-storey complex was built on the site of the former Royal Oak Hotel. Imagine Irish Catholics pulling down a hotel for a church and convent. And the school moved here in 1907. Wing to house the sisters was added in 1908 and the chapel in front of us was built in 1926.
Standing in front of the Carrington Courthouse that was built in 1857. They actually added the porch 4 years later. But Ned Kelly, who you've heard much about, our bushranger, he was actually charged here for highway robbery in 1870.
I don't think the highways were like the freeways of today somehow.
No, I don't think so, Peter.
Probably he held up a stagecoach or something like that. So what I have behind me is Caroline Chisholm's house. Now Caroline seems like she's got her name around this particular town a bit, because there's another house around the corner that the Sisters of Mercy claim is her house as well, and there's a monument to her across the road in front of a high school. So Caroline, as we know, she's on the back of the $5 bill, but I reckon there's strong connections with this town. She was a lady that helped migrants come to the country in the mid-1800s. So I reckon she helped a lot of the Irish post-famine as they came to Australia. That may be a thought.
We are going to walk up Piper Street, which is probably the oldest part of the Carrington business area. I'm standing at the old historical hospital, which started in 1854 and closed in 2005 and quickly has become deteriorated. But there are new plans on the horizons and possibly an old aged care facility. But anyway, we'll have to wait and see what they do with it. But at the moment, it stands abandoned. Shame.
Okay. Ruby and I are in front of Moreville. Ruby sees a doggy across the other side of the street. Okay, stop it, Ruby. This is the end of our historic tour around Kyneton. Ruby, stop it. Okay. We've actually discovered a lot of history in this particular place, dating back from about 1830s, 1850s, and then a bit of a boom around the turn of the century as well. So lots to discover here, and lots of little doggies along the way too. We will see you on the next adventure. We don't know about Ruby because she hasn't been behaving herself recently. Bye.
Bye.